Just got all my goodies in from Amazon. We got the adapter harness from Subthump there. Let's see, get the part number. There's a part number for it. I took the internal amplifier out. Got it right here. It was a little bit of a challenge trying to get the connector in, so what I ended up doing just to make sure everything was okay with this connector is I tried, because you can see they're different. This is a locking style, but it's the same footprint. I tried mating the receptacle and the adapter to the factory connector. It worked just fine. I tried mating this guy into the amp. It was real stiff. So before I risked the amp, I tried plugging these guys together. It was real stiff, but I eventually got them to mate with a little bit of wiggling. So this plug is just a little bit rigid from factory. So I may give it a couple mates into the receptacle in on itself just to loosen it up, and then we'll get going with the install. So we didn't have any issues getting this guy to mate into the amp, just a couple mate demate cycles, and we got it in there. It was much easier taking the 3 screws out. Now they're 7mm screw heads, and getting the amp out of the car to go ahead and get that guy mated in. So we're looking at got an Alpine 500 watt monoblock. We're looking at the instructions here. And so if we take some of these lines on the harness, for example, we got front right, sorry, I flipped over. So front right is gray, and front right is gray and black, sorry for the reflection. Minus is with the black. I'm assuming, let's see, on here, I think there's a black weave, can't really tell. There it is. So yeah, I'm assuming, looks like it's the same setup. We'll check another one. Green is left rear. Green, or sorry. Yeah, rear left. Or maybe, yeah, rear left. I guess this is front right. So violet should be rear right. Right rear. Okay, cool. So the colors line right up, so this will be an easy deal. I'm going to solder these connections together, and we'll get back on our harness all finished up now. I soldered all the leads together. This is actually just a big chunk of larger shrink tubing that I shrunk down over it and then used electrical tape to seal it up. I want to make sure nothing's going to chafe off the shrink tube that I put over the individual leads. I always like to double wrap things. Anyway. So yeah, we got this ready to go. We're going to plug it into the amp, put the amp back in the bracket, and then work on taking this panel out to get access to the battery. We have our factory amp reinstalled, and the harness for the speaker input to the subwoofer amplifiers in. When you tighten these, if you do take this amp out, when you tighten these down, I think they're threaded into plastic, so just put them in real easy. They came off real light, so you don't need to tighten them down too hard. So now we're going to go ahead and pop this pop clip. There's another one right up here. There was one here. This right here is a fine example of why I don't like the dealership installing accessories. See how crappy that looks? They put in these hooks for the cargo net, and I don't know, it looks like it's we'll see what it looks like when we pull it out. It almost looks like it's bent out a little bit. Maybe that's just the way the panel is. But anyway, we're going to pop the clip down here, the one up here. You would have had one here. And we'll get access to the battery. Another example, well, I don't like the dealer putting stuff in. I found a spare pop clip back here. So when they put those hooks in, they didn't even bother cleaning up the clips that flew out. It's nice to have a spare. We now have access to the battery. There's 2 little tabs on the positive terminal cover. Push them in, slide it out. Get the positive terminal cover off. I think we've got a couple posts here that we can use. I've got to figure out which one I want to tap onto. I don't know what that. Maybe I can use this guy up here. I gotta look at the hardware that came with my the wiring harness, and I think I'm going to put the ground right on that ground post point. Actually, there's another one right here too. Plenty of ground options. So I don't honestly know. This may be an easier one because it comes out in line, but I'll figure out which one of them I'm going to use. We have the power and ground wires installed now. There's a 350 amp terminal here. I use that guy. Just tie it down to the main harness, main power harness. Definitely ran some conduit protector because I'm going over this hump here, and just had it follow this other main harness that goes to this fuse box. So there's your ground point right there. Just have him run out as well. Run the ground back around because I'm going to have the amp terminals on the back side for power. And run the power on the opposite side. I'm going to tighten this fuse block. I'm going to leave the fuse block down here somewhere so I can actually get to it should I need to disconnect it. I don't have to fish around inside the pocket back here. Wood shop kept going. Had to make a little mod, or didn't have to, but ended up making a little mod to put a wing hanging off the off this wooden plate. So I had a nice place to mount this block. I'll run the main into here. Run the other power back around this side, and yeah, we're good. I just gotta tighten this stuff down, start hooking up the power, and pretty much done. So this little plate thing, or I mean not the plate thing, but these bolts or studs there made it real nice to be able to put something like that plate thing in there. I think it definitely makes this a much cleaner install. I don't have, you know, a hot power thing floating around. It's on something that's insulated. It looks pretty good. Okay, so we have everything squared away here. Probably need to run a few more zip ties to tighten everything up, but we've got the amp in. Fuse blocks all set up. The line level's in and everything's working. Subwoofer out here. And yeah, it's all good. Everything's running pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, clean up some areas. I want to make sure this amp shuts off because it is using the speaker level input to trigger it. So I just want to make sure there's no issues there. But yeah, this is it's nice way to do it. No permanent changes. All this can come out without a trace. So you know, you take that harness out, you take the power lines out. Didn't even have to drill a ground. So I think this is a great way to do it if you just want to add a sub. You could actually even add, you probably wouldn't be able to fit, you know, a larger amp in there. I guess you could. There's some lights. So you probably could fit a larger amp in here. And you can use this exact same harness to replace, basically bypass this amplifier if you want. So you could run, say, like a 6-channel amp, or sorry, a 5-channel amp in here and run your sub and your regular speakers if you wanted. So all I have to do is put the pop clips back in and just kind of put all the covers back in, but on this back panel, then we're all set. So yeah, if anybody's looking to put a sub in a car like this, it's a pretty easy task. Hope this helps show one last update with everything put back in. So everything's all nice and clean. Just ran the speaker cable, this little grab tab, and yeah, that's the whole deal. The only thing I noticed it's a little unfortunate is this mat has a pretty thick pad in the back, and it makes it hard. You have to have a pretty heavy box to smush it down, but everything sounds pretty good. Not a bad install at all. It's nice to have a little bass back.